Hi there, and welcome to this shootout where we challenge the standard widescreen with our Supernova technology. So today here we'll do a shootout, a duel between Supernova 2323, our high-gain material, and a standard ordinary widescreen material. Could be of any brand, any manufacturer. We will challenge, or we will duel on 4 parameters. First of all, readability and details, colors and depth, viewing comfort, and finally need of accessories. So how can we quantify that? Well, we can if we translate this to more measurable parameters. So what we will do is that we will measure the contrast on the 2 screens. We will measure the color gamut, or an example of it at least, on the 2 screens. We will talk about what brightness that the 2 screens can deliver, or what is optimum. And finally, we will also discuss the need of projector for the 2 screens. Now, this is a brightly lit environment. Here we have approximately 300 lux on the screen surface. We have overhead lights pointing down here. And this is an aggressive setup, but it's not an extraordinary lit setup. This is a very, let's say, brightly lit conference room that could be in any company, or any company in the world. So let's start with the first dual parameter. Contrast we need to measure in a 4x4 checkerboard pattern. It's very, very important that you do not do the full on and full off contrast measurement, because then you will have artificial contrast numbers, you can say. This 4x4 checkerboard pattern method is now standardized, and you can read all about it in the Infocom standard 3M-211. We will have to use a luminance meter, which is this device. And we will measure the lumens of each of the 16 squares. We will average the brightness of all the white squares and divide by the average of all the black squares, and then we have our contrast ratio of the display. In this case, we're using a projector with specified for 3,500 lumens, but we have just tested it. It's providing 1,300 lumens effectively on this screen. The screen size is 110 inch, and it's in 16 by 9 format. Alright, let's begin. We have the checkerboards. So with this device, we will point all the white squares. And we cheated a little, so I have the result here. The average of all the whites were 208 nits, or candelabra per square meter. Then we measured all the blacks, and we had an average of 12.5 nit, or candelabra per square meter, giving an overall contrast ratio of this display that you're looking at now of 16.5 to 1. Now, let's see how the widescreen performs. Here we have the widescreen behind the Supernova. We will do the exact same thing. We have not changed anything. Same projector, same brightness, same illumination above the screen, exactly the same light on the screen. So we have done the same again, measured all the 8 white squares, and now we average a brightness of 150 nits. And all the blacks are 60 nits. So if we divide 150 by 60, we will have a contrast ratio of 2.5 to 1 in this display. So you can see that with the Supernova high-gain material, in the exact same setup, you can just change the screen, and right there you will get 6 times better contrast. Okay, I think it's obvious when you see it that supernova provides far better contrast. But what about colors? To test colors, we will use a chromometer, and actually this device is also a chromometer that can give you the X and Y coordinates on any color that you point. So this is the color gamut of the, you can say, theoretically maximum color resolution or color saturation that you can get. Now we will see how far out to the different colors can we get with supernova and with the white screen. So for that we made this test pattern that gives you the grayscale and the red with maximum red down here, green with maximum green down here, and blue with the maximum blue down here. So let's just do a quick and simple one, and that's the blue one. So optimal, if we could get the coordinates 0.167 for the X and 0.009 for the Y, we would have full color saturation blue. With supernova, the screen that you see here, our high-gain material, our coordinates are 0.240 and 0.145. We'll have a look on that just in a second, how good that is. Then we do exactly the same with the white screen. We measure the blue. So down here we measure the blue and what coordinates that gives us. Blue color on the white screen, it has coordinates 0.387 and Y coordinates 0.322. So back to the color gamut. Supernova. 0.240 is approximately here for X, and 145 is approximately here. So we are here with supernova. That is our, you could say, blue resolution, which is here. For the white screen, 387 and 322. So we are up here. So actually, the white screen is providing a slightly purple image. So the colors are off, and we are very close to the center. So we have almost no resolution in colors. So clearly, the color gamut for supernova is much wider. We can provide so many more colors than we can on the white screen. White screen, very few colors in the center here. That is also clearly seen if you watch a picture. In this case, something with green background. You see much more the contrast, and the more colors is providing much more depth in the image than on this one, where the lack of contrast washes out the image, and you do not see details properly. Also, you lose the depth, the 3D effect, you could say, of an image without the contrast. Same goes with a blue image background. Here you see to the left, you see much more details in the image. To the right, totally washed out. It's difficult to see, contour changes of objects. So clearly, supernova performs far better in colors. Now to the third dual parameter, brightness. Brightness includes something that DNP invented, a term we call ergonomics. Ergonomics means ergonomic for the eyes, or comfortable for the eyes. So what we want to convey is the message that they have known in control room designs for years and decades, that a display needs to be balanced to the surroundings in order to be comfortable. And in the control room industry, they know this very well because they sit there for hours and hours in front of the display. This knowledge we want to bring into the meeting room design, and that's what we do here. We need a luminance meter to measure the brightness of the display, and in order to be comfortable, your display should not be more than 3 times as bright as the surrounding area or the task, the paper that you sit with on your desk. So, in this case, normally, this is normally what you see with a white screen. You have white background and you have dark fonts, black fonts. You could do a little with colors, but often you don't, because colors, as we saw just before, is not really working on a white screen. So this is often what you can and what you will do on the white screen. What is much more comfortable and what you should do is to show something with negative background or dark background. This is much more comfortable. But in this case, it has almost the same brightness. So that is why you don't often do it with a white screen. But if you could, you should. And you can with the supernova screen material. So imagine what will be more comfortable, sitting like this for many, many hours, very bright display with very bright background, or sitting with this dark background, which is more balanced to the environment. The supernova you can, so that's why it beats the white screen on image brightness. Now the final parameter is the projector. The need of projector in order to do a high quality image, high contrast image. High contrast is defined as 15:1 in contrast ratio, because this is a meeting room environment, and the Infocom standard recommends or requires 15:1 in contrast for basic decision making, which is, let's say, meeting room environment. So a 110-inch screen, which we see here, requires 250 lux on the screen surface and a 2.3 gain material supernova. We can provide 15:1 in contrast with only 1,400 lumens. Or with our low gain material, we can provide the same image, but due to the lower gain we need more projector power. We can reach 15:1 in contrast with 3,400 lumens. With a white screen, because contrast is so difficult to obtain in a brightly lit room with a standard white screen, 15:1 in contrast would require 11,000 lumens. 11,000 lumens. Now, if we shot with 11,000 lumens, the image would be too bright, and then we're back to the discussion we had before about sitting in an environment with too bright an image. So that will not do. What can then do with the white screen? Well, then you have to reduce the projector power, but then you reduce the contrast. Now you will no longer have 15:1 in contrast. So with the white screen, you would either compensate or trade on gain, ridiculous. You will either compensate or trade on contrast or on lumens or brightness, and either is not good. Now, how can we know that we need 11,300 lumens in order to provide 15:1 in contrast on a white screen? Well, we have this calculation tool that we provide our partners. where we can enter data about the room and the screen data, and it tells us then that for a 0.8 gain material in this environment we will need 3,400 lumens, and for 1.0 gain material 11,300. For 2.3 gain material 1,400 lumens, or 1,381 to be exactly the calculator. And this is exactly what we have here. We have 1,300 lumens from the projector and a 2.3 gain, so we are actually slightly better than the calculator. So, conclusion. On the dual parameters that we are dueling on here with the widescreen, or against the widescreen, contrast, we shut the widescreen down. On colors, we shut the widescreen down. On brightness, we shut the widescreen down. And the need of projector power, we shut the widescreen down. So all in all, Supernova is the last screen standing and beaten the widescreen in the brightly lit environment. So thank you for watching, and hopefully we will see you soon on our webpage.